Everybody, welcome. Good stream, we're back. And surprise, we're doing a surprise stream today. Normally I don't stream at this time, so I decided that I'd do a nice little chill stream in the evening time. And we're gonna just do some writing. And as always, you know, that's what we love to do here on Page 1 Noir channel. And we're gonna have fun doing that. And later, I have something a bit special. I say it all the time. I have made a presentation. I'm going to teach you guys exactly what Noir is. So I'm going to teach you guys about what Noir means and what it is, right? So first thing I'm going to do is get my novel going. So I'm going to bring that up, and then I'm going to just sit here and just write on it. I think do an hour of writing, and then maybe feed in with another hour of, or like fill in the rest of the time with some of my presentation, because I want to teach you guys. Because last time I had who was it? It was one of the streamers I watch. It was Renfrost. She came on stream and she asked me like, what is Noir? And I couldn't explain it. I just couldn't. And I think it's so important that I explain it to people, because this is the basis of my channel. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to start off the day with some writing, finish it with some of my fiction, some of my explanation for it, for what Noir means, right? Alright, let me do that. I'm gonna put my slideshow in. I'm gonna make my slideshow smaller, so I can fix it. And let's go bring that down a size. Can you guys still see it? It's just gonna be chilling in the corner. Maybe I'll move my Word document over here so I can present that to you guys as well. But no, I want to do my writing today. I really want to get my word count up and just get some work done on it. It's just really what I would like to do today. And then later, I have a surprise special presentation, so stick around, come back, stick around, come back, or there'll be a presentation where I'm going to talk about what my channel aims to do and what my genre, what is Noir. I want to talk about what is Noir, because I feel like I didn't know before, so I made a presentation to teach myself, because it's important to always be learning, and I want to share that with you guys. So stay tuned for that. But I really want to get some work done on my novel, and you can ask me any questions or just talk about your day. Tell me a cool fact about your day. Tell me something you learned, you know. We're all about learning on this channel. I'll tell you something I learned today. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, the people of ancient Egypt, they have a very specific burial practice, and children were essential to it, because if the parents died, once the parents were dead, the children would actually look after the graves. That was like their job. The children had to look after the graves of their family. And that was the children's responsibility. And by looking after it, they would give food and water and other kind of like supplies, so that the parents could travel in the afterlife. So I think that was really cool to share. And also kind of reminded me, because I know people from Taiwan and South Korea, and in Taiwan and South Korea they do that too. Once a year they'll go and they'll visit their relatives' shrines, and they'll give food and water to their relatives to, you know, keep them going in the afterlife, because everyone needs a snack. Speaking of that, I've got my coffee here. I had some strawberries on a plate. So a sip of coffee, and this is my story. I'm just gonna keep writing like we always do. But stick around, because I'm gonna have a presentation later to show you guys. Because I want this to be a educational Twitch stream. I want to be like an educational streamer. So I want to essentially be like a teacher and have a class of students. I think that sounds like a lot of fun to me. You can have some kind of like cool thing going on. Renfrost, hello! It's great to have you back. Thank you so much for joining. I was just talking about you. You inspired me to take my stream in this direction, because last time you joined, I was trying to explain to you what is Noir, and I was trying to explain it to you, but I think I didn't explain it to you very well, and I felt a bit kind of let myself down, because my channel is called Page 1 and then Noir. I should know what Noir is, correct? So I've done that. So in an hour, because I want to do an hour of writing, but in 1 hour I will do my presentation, and it's going to be about Noir, just covering Noir. And you may have noticed I'm on later tonight because I wanted to do like a surprise, join in later. I think that's kind of fun. Usually I do like morning time in my area, but I wanted to do a late night stream, so I'm here. I'm gonna do my writing now, and I'm gonna ask me any questions you want about it, or just say hi. Okay, let's see. So last time I was talking about, just his ideas. So I was talking about the red suit man's ideas for his government-controlled world. All right, here we go. So I just got to continue on with that. You should feel blessed, Ren Frost, because you've done a great thing today. I appreciate it. And yeah, from streamer to streamer, it's not easy. Always, it's a lot of things to think about. But we get through it. We get through it. Streamer, it's not easy. I think I've only been doing this for like 10 days now. And I'm on my 10th. This is my 10th stream, 10th day. I want to do this more. I'm thinking of like doing this because I'm still studying, right? So I'm still studying at uni. I've got days, like I've got years left to do this. So I can like do this on the side of university while my life is not incredibly busy as of yet. I can just do this kind of like on the side. It's kind of nice, and it's just kind of fun. Something different. Never really tried it before. I can't imagine what it's like doing it for 1 month. Do you how have you found it for 1 month? Like, do you find it gets easier? Do you feel like have more people coming to your channel, or because in 1 month you must see a lot of things. That's like 3 times as long as I've done it. trying to think. How do I go from here? I think that's a really cool idea. I like that you do prompts on your stream. You always like ask for people to give their suggestions and what you want. I think when I went on your stream and I saw you have like a little suggestion box down below. Is that correct? I think that's right? And I think you like to show your face to the camera, but I just don't have the confidence to do that right now. I like to hide behind my monitor as I write. But I think if I arts and crafts, yeah, I can see that, because you have to show people what you're doing. You have to use your hands to do stuff, of course. That makes sense. I've never seen one of your arts and crafts streams. That must be a lot of fun to watch, actually, because I never see that on Twitch. Do you do that on, like, what kind of things do you make? What kind of things do you like to make? Because I've never been able to catch one of those streams before, not live. Yeah, I think what I mean is, like, I'd like to use my webcam. It may be in the future. I think it just gives that extra layer of interaction, because I think it makes kind of a more personal or connection with the audience as they're watching. I think that could be fun as well, and then kind of people can put a face to your channel. But there are, of course, there's ways to do that without showing your face. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's always you're always got to think of new ways to engage. I was thinking of doing something fun for Christmas time, maybe like having an arts and crafts stream on Christmas. I could like film myself making some Christmas tree decorations or setting up a small Christmas tree. I think people would think that was funny. You know, just something special for the holidays. So nothing too drastic though, just simple. You want to make a book on stream? That's cool. There's some classes around my city for like book binding and stuff. The local bookstore has sessions for book binding, and I've never actually gone. Holiday decor would be fun. Yeah, I think it gets people in the festive spirit, right? If you do like Halloween stuff, or I was also thinking like maybe do a Halloween stream, and maybe do some like creepy stories, read some creepy stories, or write something scary, or share something I've written for Halloween. And that's not too far away either. Halloween's coming up pretty close. It's 2 months away now. But my favorite time of year actually is Halloween, just because I love horror. I love darker stuff. Like Noir is darker. That's why I like kind of darker stuff. But it's important when you're putting your mind in this darker stuff, like in your writing. It's very important not to. Oh, my screen is half cut off. Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, let me fix it. It's very important when you're streaming, when you're focusing so much on noir and the darker side of creative writing, or the darker side of creative arts, that you don't bum yourself down. You gotta take care of yourself, especially if you're writing it. Like, I find writing this stuff, I get kind of moody. So I gotta remember to take a step back and breathe. But I still love Halloween. To make a whole tangent. And it is simple, is that right? I've never tried it before. You play D&D? Damn, that's awesome. I tried it before, but I couldn't get into it. Maybe just with the people I was playing with. Halloween is the best season. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't know if it's the best. I mean, Christmas is good too. I love Halloween, but I can appreciate other seasons too. I appreciate Easter because you get chocolate. I appreciate Christmas because that's like family come together. But Halloween is a lot of fun. Maybe even Halloween stream, make a costume. There was a medieval festival. My partner and I made medieval costumes. But then it was cancelled because of COVID, so we couldn't use them. That was okay though. I mean, we still have them, so we'll wear them next opportunity, and that could be Halloween. Maybe we'll go trick or treating around the suburbs for Halloween. Why not? Or was that more of a kiddie thing to do? I don't know. I'm trying to read what you're saying. Yeah. That's fun. Highlight of your week. You can have like a once a week session with friends, right? That's nice. Trick or treat is for everyone. I did notice a difference though. I think Renfrost, you're from America, right? The States, is that right? Or do you not want to say? I don't know. But because I'm from Australia. I don't think Halloween here is as big as the States. Not nearly. I think Halloween here is still growing. Just especially where I live in Australia. Halloween just isn't as popular as other countries. In Ireland, Halloween is popular there too, but cool. From Ohio, nothing. Does any? I don't know. Nobody knows anything about Ohio. Isn't that like the mystery state and all the memes that people talk about? Sorry if I'm losing you there, but all the memes people say like Ohio is the mystery state. Nobody knows what actually happens there. No, but that's cool. I've never been to Ohio. I've been to California. I've been to Florida, New York, maybe Colorado. Yeah, Colorado one time. But I have yet to go to anywhere else really. What was I talking about? Halloween. Yeah, Halloween's not very big here. That's the point. I've just been informed. I've just been informed that there was a movie called Oh My Ohio. A movie or a song? Maybe do you know that song? Yeah, there's a few memes about it, but it's all in good light. It's all in good fun. I think people from Ohio might even be behind some of the memes. A song from a musical. I haven't heard it before. I just got told the name of it. But I guess you know it sounded good. A good play on words. Oh my, Ohio. Oh, Renfrost, I did a raid the other day. I raided a channel. There was a woman. She was writing something. I didn't get to ask what it was, but the cool thing was she was also drawing. She was drawing pictures of characters in the story, and she had them displayed on the side while she was writing. And I did a raid on her channel with like 4 people, but that was really cool. Kind of reminded me of when you came to me. I was like, yes, I can pass on the raid, return the favor to someone else.
Sueño más de lo que debo, despego, quemo eso, subo al cielo, pero arriba no me encuentro nada nuevo y luego acabo todo tirado por los suelos. Quería subir para no bajar.
Being perfectly honest, I think that might have been my best ever stream. Just because I think I had the most fun on that one. Because we did a whole we did a game where we spun a wheel and we picked like random character traits, and we used a random face generator to create characters and a storyline, and we wrote it on stream. That was a lot of fun, and people were really engaged with that. It was a good fun. It was a lot of fun to stream actually. Just something different. It's kind of because us writers, like, we're not a big category on Twitch. We got to think of ideas to get people to come and check us out and see what we're all about. So there's always have to think of new ideas. Always learning. Yeah, that was my first time doing prompts, and I see why you like it as well. Because definitely it makes things more interesting. But what kind of prompts do you like to use, Renfrost? And do you just do them on your own writing, or do you always do it on stream? Because I think I never use prompts outside of stream. That was the first time I've ever used prompts for writing. Well, maybe not the first time, but I mean like randomly generated like websites or names and things like that. I get prompts when I go outside or when I see something on TV and I think, oh, that's a good idea, I'll put that in my story. Got my own label red. Okay, where was I? Red Suit Man. I keep forgetting where I am. Red Suit Man creates his own red wine because he doesn't trust corporations. Or, he wants to get away from the corporations. He wants to prove a point. Maybe the red wine comes into the story later. Maybe he uses it to control people. That could be interesting. You had a prompt meeting every week? Shortly after high school, I did a prompt review meeting. I use them for exercises or practice, but I can sometimes get one that leads into an interesting story. Yeah, you had like a high school group, is that right? An entire writing group. Damn, that's fun. So was that when you were in high school? You had other people Nice. Yeah, and I guess it's that feeling when something really sticks out at you, and everyone's different, but you really find something that you can write. Once you find it, you can just throw it in your story, or plant it in your story, and it grows. It wouldn't be from a fridge, would it? Cabinet. It'd be in the same cabinet as the book. I think the Red Suit Man is a character who commissions everything to his own. He doesn't use company stuff. I watched a drama yesterday, and there's like it was kind of like a bit about a gang in where is it? Texas, and they're really powerful. They pretty much run the state, but at the same time they kind of run the state behind the curtain of ambiguity. But she was the boss woman. There's a woman who runs the gang. She's Mexican, and she was running deals with like a car company to get like armored vehicles, but they would be completely customized, so that they couldn't be identified easily, because they wouldn't have like known like logos attached to them, or they'd all be different colors. And the point of this was so that they wouldn't be registered under any company. They'd be completely private, like owned by them privately, and couldn't trace it back to a company. And even though it was like a big car dealership that made them for them, I think that's kind of what I want to go for here, is that Red Suit Man will do this. Nothing he uses or wears will be his own. That's why he makes his own suits, because that's how it started. He made his own suits as a kind of act of rebellion against the companies. And he also makes his own wine, he makes his own books, he makes his own vehicles, because of his own ideologies. Yeah, I hope so. I hope people can enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you for saying that. I guess it's interesting that you said Renfrost said you like urban fantasy. Mine is kind of like an urban sci-fi. So kind of similar, right? We both got the urban-esque kind of theme. Mend. That I bake, I guess. Urban sci-fi, kind of like, yeah, urban sci-fi, but then of course there's Noir, and I will get into Noir in a little bit. I'll get into Noir. There's going to be a whole presentation about it, and if you miss it, I'll post it on my YouTube, and I'll probably make it a highlight on my stream, so that it will probably, anyone who comes to my stream can come and watch it again. So if you can't stick around, that's perfectly fine. Don't expect you to stay around for an hour. But it will be good. I can't wait to get to it. I can finally define myself. No, I feel the same way. I think that's a good idea. I think if we can call this like a study group. We all come together and we all study. You know what I mean? Yeah, study group. Oh, I know. I haven't seen. I'll have to watch it. Hey, it's accurate. So the Ohio person says that "Oh My Ohio" is an accurate musical, an accurate song. So there you go. I guess it's for. You gotta have some credibility to it there. I'll have to watch it then in my own time. Hey, because it must be funny. Cool. From the 50s, oh my god. The 50s was such a different time. It's still the same. It's still the same as it was in the 50s. So Ohio is locked. It's like a time in the past. It's the time capsule of an era from the 50s. Is that kind of how you feel? Sometimes I feel that way. Like some parts of Ireland, some parts of Ireland, you go in there, it's just farm. Yeah, like nothing here has changed for the last 100 years, except maybe a tractor or something has been there now.
say to do, a few things I do have to go through. But for now I let it flow, and I stay right here on a silent sea. Na-na, I'm floating. Na-na, on a silent sea. Na-na, I'm floating. Na-na, on a silent sea. Na-na, I'm floating. Na-na, I'm floating on a silent sea.
Knowing the same people since you were 4, everyone knows each other. Is that the kind of place Ohio is? Is where everyone knows each other? And is that kind of what it's like? Because I think the memes are saying like anyone outside of Ohio just doesn't know anything about Ohio. A lot of the memes I see are like that. Like, we just don't know. We can't see. We don't know what's going on in there. And isn't like, hold on, is it Ohio where? Oh god, I'm really showing my geography skills. Hold up, I'm gonna say something stupid. Michigan is north of Ohio, isn't it? Did I just butcher my geography? Let's have a little look. Is that Ohio south of Michigan? No, it's not, is it? Ohio's the square one. I'm looking at a map of the USA. But I'm going to... Okay, one second. Cut the music. Cut the music. Band, stop playing, please. Orchestrator, silence. Is this... Can I put it in my document? Alright. That red one, that's Michigan. I know that's Michigan. Because that's the one that's on the Great Lakes. Michigan's this one. This is also Michigan, which is funny to me. Because this is Ohio, correct? Is that right? This one here. Oh wait, you can't see, right? I have to draw on it. This is Ohio, right? Oh, bottom right. Oh god, which one? This is not it. Is it this one? Is this it? This purple one? That's Wisconsin. So, I'm getting Wisconsin is green. Okay, I'm learning now. This is geography class. Thank you. This is Renfoss. You should be taking over the stream here. Yellow. Ohio is yellow. Okay, I got it. So this is Ohio. This green one is Wisconsin. Is that right? Wisconsin. The east coast of the United States. I struggle so hard. I don't even know where New York is really. Hold on. I've been to New York. I think I know where New York is, but it's very small. It's a very small state. Hold on. New York. Oh, this is New York, I think. Also kind of in here, in purple. That's New York, right? Green is Wisconsin. Yellow is Ohio. Purple is either Illinois or Indiana. But people always get mixed up. Right, okay, interesting. I'm gonna quick Google. Let's call stream learning geography history. Learning American geography. So, yeah. I can't even do Australian geography. Sometimes that's tricky. Sometimes. So yeah. Huh? I'm looking at a map. I'm so confused. I don't understand what's happening. Yellow is Ohio. Really? Oh, it is. So then purple was Indiana. Yeah, that's right. I just googled it. Purple was Indiana. Indiana. With this beautiful pen. Oh god. I think that's okay. Maybe I should do a geography test. Do a study. So I can do a bit of study and I can learn a bit more about American states. Maybe that'd just be fun. And also Noir, right? Noir style. I'll get into this. Noir style is very, very much American influenced, and that's gonna be important to know. Because let's say American culture has influenced the trajectory or the direction of obviously of noir genre, big time. Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, New York is the purple one, I think. Sorry if I just butchered American geography, but maybe I should learn some more. It's a good lesson. If you see that image on a slideshow now, the one right there, that is there was a place in Japan I visited. Remember we turned the corner, because we were walking to the train station, and we turned the corner, and there was this beautiful, I don't even know what it was, I think it was a hotel. It was just there, because the whole like Japan was just big buildings and skyscrapers and streets. But we turned the corner and there's this stunning piece of architecture just there, and it was like the front of it looked like a shrine, but it was more like, I guess it was just like a traditional shop for food or something. If it comes up again, I'll say yes, that's it. Japan is one of my favorite places in the world. Right, let's go back into our writing. And I'll do 15 more minutes and then I'll get to my presentation. Wow, 12,000 words. I need another milestone. Man, that feels good. It always feels good when you reach those big numbers in writing. This is my first time writing a novel. It's my first time getting to 12,000 words for any creative piece I've ever done. Like for me, when I started out writing big pieces, 3,000 words was like huge for me. But now I've gotten to this many. It kind of feels weird. I'm writing a novel. It feels strange because there's a lot of things to think about, but at the same time, it all comes naturally. But this is my first novel. I've never written a novel before, so it's a cool experience. I'm sure you know if you've written a novel or if you're working on one. That was why I started Twitch. Of course, I think I said this already, but it was to do my writing. Thank you very much. I will try my best. Yeah, I'm figuring. I always felt a bit scared of starting a novel. I played around with so many ideas in the beginning. Like I had been writing. I guess I started a few different novels before. If I could count, I'd probably say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 5 different novels I've started. By start I mean like 1,000 words, 2,000 words, and then put away for a bit and never really opened it again. But this one I've just kind of gone with it and I've gotten this far, so I'm really proud of myself. I feel good. And you're working on one too. Nice. And you're writing some short stories. That's cool. Are you doing those on the side, or what kind of short stories are you writing? Another thing is like when you get to share your work with an audience, because it's one thing to make art or to make writing, but it's a whole nother thing to share it. I think a lot of excitement comes from sharing it. In my experience, I think I remember the first time I shared my writing online, and that was an amazing experience. It got really well received by people. And that really it gives you that motivation to keep going. You're like, yes, this is what I want to do. It was magical. But I think the danger that I got into was that I started to only do it for the feedback. If I didn't get comments, I remember posting. I was doing like fan fiction stuff before for Doki Doki Literature Club. And I remember posting I had like a whole short story thing going on. I remember I get like 50 likes on on my latest short stories. Got like 50 likes, but 0 comments. And I remember just kind of feeling a bit down after that because I was relying on the comments. You know, I needed that validation. But even if I wasn't getting it from people that I wanted. Like, I wasn't getting that validation the way I wanted to get it, and that was crushing. You know, it was a little bit disappointing. But yeah, I guess I got more mature. I don't know what happened, but I started to just, you know, decide, no, I don't need validation to write. You know, I can be a writer, and people can say nothing about it, and that's fine. I'll be a writer. I'll write because I want to. It is definitely terrifying and exhilarating, you know, but because I think, did you know that anxiety and excitement come from the same part of the brain? So the way that you perceive the situation will affect, will either trigger anxiety or excitement. That's very interesting. I think I spend a lot of time being anxious about stuff, even though you know, there's the other option there is to be excited, because that's a much nicer feeling than being anxious. That's for sure. You know, when you're excited to go somewhere rather than dreading it, you have a better time. Not always, but mostly. So there's one more thing I wanted to say. Then I remember I wrote I might share it on Halloween, but I wrote a story, a creepy story. That's why I've said Halloween. And I posted it online, and it got really, really bad reception. People just did not like it. I think people had issues with the way I was writing or something. I don't know. It's funny because I just write it, and I just think, oh, this is good, because it's my final draft. But then people looked at it and they said, like, does this person even speak English? Why is their writing so bad? Their grammar's so robotic. Their dialogue doesn't make any sense. It's fine. Maybe because they could just be being mean. But on the other hand, you have to take something from it and say, people are telling me that there's problems with my writing. How do I go back and address these problems and make sure that I get better? And can I identify exactly what they're talking about? Is this a genuine problem in my writing? I think for me it is. And yes, I think it's a lesson that maybe all writers go through in the 21st century, because we have the internet. But I think because we have the internet, we get that instant gratification for things. But I think it's an experience that most writers go through these days. But it's an important experience, and it's important because it helps you to grow as a writer, and it helps you to grow as an artist to become more confident. And you learn that you don't need validation to become motivated. You just need it's good to share it, but you don't need that good feedback, good comments, or lots of likes to just do it, because sharing it is enough for you in the end of the day. And as long as even if you don't get a comment, and people are reading it. Figuring if criticism is actually criticism or personal opinion. That's true. You have to be careful of that. Maybe there are a lot of people out there who are just unhappy, and they want to take out their unhappiness on other people for no good reason. So it's very important to understand, to not take everything so seriously when it comes to comments, but to definitely to recognize the constructive ones from just the nasty ones. I think the worst comment I got was they said, "Does this person speak English as a first language?" That was a nasty one, but there were a lot of constructive ones as well. Oh yeah, this was the worst. Someone said that my story was bottom of the barrel. that was not nice. It did not upset me as much as I expected, though. I thought that would be really upsetting to read. But nah, I wasn't that upset by it. I just think it's funny. Maybe I think it's funny because I like alliteration stuff, like bottom of the barrel, and like swinging solar suns, stuff like that. I like alliteration. I think it's entertaining, so I think that's why I laughed at it. You watch a video article? Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. I'm gonna take that down. I know, some people, well, that's it. Some people are just so mean online. You have to watch out, you have to be careful. But it's important not to take those comments too personally, if you can. Because there are just mean people. I'm gonna take that down. I'm interested. I want to learn more about what you mean by intrinsic and extrinsic. Video recommendation. I'm making a note of it now. And also I have to watch Oh My Ohio. You can understand Ohio culture. extrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, as well as oh my Ohio. What a good. That's my list. That's my list of videos to watch when I get off stream. Cool. But what kind of things did you learn from that video? I'm curious. You can message me the links? Yeah, please. I'd appreciate it. If you wanna, I think we're friends on here, so if you want to whisper it to me, they say whisper. I think that would be fine. And thank you. How much did I write today? Not that much, but that's okay. Today's a bit of a slower day for me, but I'm just enjoying having conversations. Just enjoying chatting. It's nice. I wasn't feeling that inspired this evening. I had a huge day of classes. Big day of classes because we're in lockdown, so it's all online now. I think I did like 5 hours of school today. Pretty normal day, but it was all online. God, I don't know. I really want to get into my stream, I really want to get into my presentation now. I want to do my presentation about what Noir is. I think I might do that now. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to put away my writing for now. Oops. I'm going to put away my writing for now. And instead, I'm going to share with you guys my PowerPoint presentation about Noir. I'm very excited to share this, guys. I'm really excited to share this. But I can finally just demonstrate exactly what I mean when I talk about Noir. And you guys won't be confused anymore. And I can but more importantly, I can finally have a better understanding of what it is. And you'll see in just a moment. I love this song. This song's really cool. If anything, this song right now is probably the closest to sci-fi noir that I can get. I gotta find out how to play my presentation so that it can be displayed in a good way. Okay. Oh, don't look at the slides. Spoilers. I hope I set it up properly. Okay, I actually have it set up on another monitor here, my PowerPoint. So I'm going to mute myself while I make sure it's all good. In the meantime, just please, thank you for your patience. Maybe I won't mute myself. I'll keep talking. But I really want to make sure that this presentation comes out right. And all my audio is okay. And then I will get right into it. I'm gonna press play on my presentation and see how it looks on my other monitor. And if it looks good, we're ready to go. So please bear with me. Because I noticed that I think it's my internet connection, but my stream is very delayed. I know Twitch streams are delayed anyway, but like 6 or 10 seconds. Mine, I think it's delayed by more than that. Because I'm watching here on my other computer, and the audio is like 20 seconds behind. It's just annoying, but it's just I want to make sure everything goes smoothly. And as soon as I know, I will start the presentation. Oh my god! I just saw the screen. It looks terrible. How do I fix it? I probably should have set this up before my stream. I think I know. I don't know. I don't know how to optimize this for the best viewing experience. Damn it! I set up a whole thing. Okay. Let me just try something. 1 second, please. I'm gonna try fix it. In the meantime, please wait for me. I have a funny story. I remember doing like high school presentations. In high school, we had to do even in university, we have to do presentations that are yeah. There's a small delay, exactly. No, in high school we have to do presentations for like different topics and stuff. That's pretty normal. But I think that doing this on stream is really good practice for later on when I have to do presentations for uni, because I will have this extra practice from stream. I think that's gonna be fun. Right, should be set up better. Should be set up better. Did you guys ever have to do presentations for high school? Did you ever use like PowerPoints for them? Like electric? Oh, I should probably think about setting up better so that chat isn't blocking chat. I think that's a good idea. I want chat on the screen. Okay. Can we get this set up in a few moments, please? Can we get this set up? Can we hit 1 million likes? It's a bit better. It's still a little bit off though. Oh no, I played next slide. Oh no. I think it's fine. I can just present to you guys like this, right? No, I can't. Oh. Why? I'm gonna have a look at more settings, and we're gonna get this set up. Yeah, I enjoyed them too. I think that PowerPoint presentations and group work is not that bad. Sure, group work is a little bit hard sometimes because you have to deal with people. It sounds really bad. You have to deal with them. But it's true, you have to deal with people that you don't necessarily want to deal with. Alright, I just changed my resolution. Maybe it will work now. Bam, please work. Please work. It's kind of hard because I have to wait for the stream to add up. I'll keep talking about my like right now I'm doing a presentation for university. We have to do a presentation about ancient civilizations. Because I'm doing history major. but we have to do a presentation, and it's all group work. We just got put into our groups today. As we're given a topic, we choose each group member chooses a civilization. By the end, we each will present it as a group. I don't know if that's better. I think that my screen is a little bit off center. How do I fix this problem? Okay. Oh, I know. Do I know? Oh my god! Please let me. But yeah, so I just fiddled around with some more controls and make it better now. Measuring history. Yes, it does. It has. I've been doing it for a few weeks now, and already I've gotten so many great ideas for my story that I'm writing. That's like, I'm going to talk about nationalism, because I'm learning about nationalism and like how that changes over time, and how that led to the creation of actual like nations. So one thing I've gotten from it is how nations are born, and that's what I've thrown into my novel. And it's really impacted like how I did the world building. The world building. Guys, I just fixed my presentation. It looks fine now. You can still see the background, but it's good. It's better than nothing. I think. Hold up a second. Okay, now it should be good. I don't know why there's still. You can still see a little bit at the top, cut off the top. Oh, I just want it to all fit on stream, because every time I go into full screen on my PowerPoint presentation, it doesn't want to work for me. Guys, but I promised last time, and then I'll get on to the juice, the meat of the stream, the PowerPoint presentation about Noir. And like history, I am going to delve a little bit into the history of Noir. I'm curious now if there's any good Noir writers from Ohio. Alright, I'm watching my live stream on my other monitor, and I put it in full screen. It looks good now. Yes. Okay, God. Thank God we did it. That's good enough. It could be better, but I won't fiddle around with it anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ohio, Americans, Australians, people in between, welcome to Noir, an overview. What exactly is Noir? We say that Noir is very difficult to pinpoint as a genre, and this is the important thing, is that people say, oh, it's a noir film, this is film noir, this is literature, noir literature, but noir is very difficult to pinpoint as a genre of sorts. It is difficult because it's not truly a genre, because it's been said that if there was a library that contained every single type of book, noir would exist somewhere between urban fantasy, sci-fi horror, and like Cthulhu, Sherlock Holmes, and romance novels. It would fall kind of like in the middle of all that. It doesn't really stand alone as a genre per se. It's more like a feeling, or it's created through like the mood of the story. You can kind of describe it as, like I've said here, a lingering sensation, like a cloudy day that looks like it's going to rain. It might be like a bad smell slowly creeping up on you. But noir is kind of like this feeling that's always in the background. It's always stirring. It's kind of unpredictable, and you don't really know how. In noir film, they use a lot of film techniques to create these noir feelings, like the way they bend light. Playing around with lighting effects is very, very important in noir, because that creates mood, creates tone, tension. One very famous way that light is used in noir is the people looking through Venetian blinds. Those are the blinds that have are built like the curtain that's panels of plastic or wood, and the light kind of comes through them in rectangles. Someone looking through those, you know, the lines kind of come on their face like a zebra pattern, or a single street lamp on a dark street. Because noir, it kind of has a little bit of light, but it's just the rest is all darkness. I've got some more notes here. I say that usually noir takes place in a urban environment, although it can take place in rural or countryside, or even in other settings like space stations. But a lot of the original noir kind of began in the 1950s. I was going to get into a bunch of history about it, but just know that noir kind of has this urban feel to it, especially in the 1950s, because you can't really talk about noir without talking about film noir, because that's really how the genre was presented to most people in cinemas. Another thing is that most of the stories in noir, they don't really, like the outcome of the story, you know, have this big storyline that will follow in the story or the film, but at the end of it, there's not really a solid solution to the problem, and there's not really there's not a solution to the problem. There's no big consequence at the end. It's kind of like life just continues to go on as normal, because the city is so big and there's people in it all over the place, so all of these events don't really have a major significant impact on anything. The next thing to know is that yes, some of the more famous types of protagonists include like detectives or business people, or even a murderer on the run. Okay, I've just included a fun little image. These are like action figures from just various like typical noir characters you can see. You've got like soldiers, you've got the woman usually known as a femme fatale. A femme fatale usually means like the woman who is usually very sly and very intelligent, and she can kind of uses her intelligence to get what she wants, and usually uses her good looks to get what she wants. If you haven't noticed already, traditional noir is it's extremely masculine, and it's usually like male dominated. There weren't, like, when noir started in the 1950s, there weren't many female roles to it, and if there were, females were kind of limited to a few archetypes, and I'll get into that next. But you have other characters like the mob boss, his gangsters. You have maybe even a reporter or a writer. There's always usually a boxer or a drunkard. These kind of like city-dwelling characters, usually not very nice people. But a bit of backstory: noir began in France, and that's the reason that it's called noir. Noir means black. It's a French word. It means black, and that kind of comes across with the lighting, like I talked about. But it also comes across that this idea of darkness, nighttime, is constant. That's why a lot of noir takes place in the nighttime or in the rain. Noir kind of picked up in America. The first American film that was truly noir came out in the 1939, and there would have been more like noir films would have picked up earlier, but because there was the Great Depression, and in the Great Depression in the early 1930s and the late 1920s, people kind of needed some more lighthearted. People needed more light-hearted entertainment. There was a excellent novel I read called The Grapes of Wrath by Max Steiner, and this is a book about a family from Oklahoma, I think. Family from Oklahoma traveling to California during the Great Depression, and there was a lot of mention of cowboy films because of how cowboy films made people feel. They made people feel hopeful, made people feel happier. They're very lighthearted. You know, you have the hero, and he does good things. You know, he's a good person. But then after the Great Depression, people kind of wanted these more darker films. So in 1939, noir started to come out in American cinemas, but it was halted because of one small reason. It wasn't a small reason at all. It was World War II. The war came. Americans were busy fighting. They joined in the war a bit later than Europe. It was in the 1940 when America started to get involved in the war against Japan and Germany and Italy. And in this stage, there wasn't a lot of time to go see cinema or to make films. So noir was put on the back pedal during World War II, but it would come back after World War II to fill the dark minds of American people at the time, who were kind of this post-war fatigue. I think that noir suited that kind of feeling that they had. The most common archetype for noir is usually, because noir usually has a mystery attached. Who killed this person is usually the most common storyline. A lot of noir stories will be about murder, or there'll be some mystery, the secret behind the CEO's wife or something like that, or how he gets his money or something like that. How are the detectives of noir different? Because we already have detective noir. We have Sherlock Holmes. We have by Conan Doyle. We have Hercule Poirot by Agatha Christie, the Belgian detective. Now these are, of course, the very first sort of detective fiction. If you don't talk about Edgar Allan Poe, who did some, maybe he was the first detective story writer. But Agatha Christie and Conan Doyle wrote, of these really eccentric gentlemen who were usually very intelligent, very witty, and used the power of deduction and science to solve crimes. But the detectives of noir, they're a whole different bag of beans, right? They're not like that at all. If you ignore Sherlock Holmes' cocaine addiction and his meth addiction. Was it meth or was it heroin? No, it was heroin. If you ignore his heroin addiction, right? Noir detectives are basically that heroin, cocaine addicted side of Sherlock Holmes. But that's the character. So noir detectives are usually substance abusers. They're usually troubled by their own minds. Usually stories have the antagonists, they have the villain. But in noir, the protagonist is usually their own antagonist. Because they'll be a detective, but they're usually very troubled by something maybe that happened in the past, like a traumatic experience, or their drinking addiction, smoking addiction, or above all else. The detectives often they go after lust or romance as well, and these are just their things that they deal with. They're usually very self-destructive. You can see here I've got 3 of the main kind of character archetypes in noir stories. If you read any noir, if you see any noir films, these are the kind of characters you can expect to find. The first one that we've gone over briefly is the detective, of course. Detectives are usually self-destructive characters. They're usually violent. Unlike Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie's Poirot, noir detectives are not afraid of making a woman cry to get information, or punching a scared bystander in the face to get the information he wants. He's not patient. He usually thinks with his fists before he thinks with his mind. And he's obsessive. He obsesses over things. What was the story? The story I saw the other day. It was I watched a noir film. It was a murder mystery. There was a woman who died, and they had the detective, and he was finally going on holidays. You know, he's taking a vacation, and as soon as he checks into his bedroom, he gets a newspaper that an actress has been killed, and he can't rest. He has to go back to work. They're usually obsessed with the case, or maybe obsessed with money, obsessed with drugs, obsessed with women. But this usually will impact who they are as a character. Usually it's a negative trait, because they're obsessed to the point of self-destruction. Then they're also nihilistic and reflective. I said that because a lot of noir stories are usually told from the point of the character looking back on an event or looking back on their lives. They usually have a very nihilistic outlook towards these events that happened in the past. You know, they don't see things in a positive light. They see things for what they are, essentially. Then there's the gang and boss. They're usually like the big powerful gangs. They usually kind of terrorize the city, and they are more often than not, they're the enemy of the detective. Maybe they're the ones who started the mystery. Maybe they killed someone and the detective is investigating it. So usually they're like the enemy of the detective. They look down at the city because they're powerful, usually have a lot of money, big gangs. They're ruthless, you know, they don't take a break. They're always causing trouble in the city. They're always greedy and arbitrary, because of course with the mob boss it's all about making more money. So the decisions they end up making is they usually get desperate. So the decisions they make are usually questioned by the gang members they have, and that can cause some interesting dynamics where the gang members maybe backstab their boss and kind of like switch sides almost, or you know, they lose faith in their boss, and usually there's a whole breakdown of the game because of their arbitrary decisions. The final character archetype is the femme fatale. This is usually the standard female character for 1950s noir, 1940s noir too. They're usually alluring and desirable. They can be portrayed in any of one of those three ways. They're usually alluring or desirable, very attractive, very intelligent, and a lot of men just want to be with them. And that they have the charm about them that attracts a lot of men. Or they can be portrayed as a damsel in distress. You know, they're terrified, someone's out to get them, and they need the detective to protect them. Essentially, they come to the detective for protection. So really playing on that stereotype of women being weak and defenseless. That's pretty much what noir does, especially in the early days. But then it would often be usually used as a plot twist, is that the damsel in distress, or the attractive woman on the side, she would end up being the one behind the entire plot of the story. You know, she was the one who orchestrated the killings. Maybe she was whispering in the ear of the mob boss and influencing all of his decisions. And in the end, she gets all of the power. She gets all the money, and everyone bows before her basically. I just put down some examples of early 20th century noir films. You may have seen a few of these. There's of course Pulp Fiction, there's Citizen Kane down there in the bottom left. I watched Citizen Kane, I think maybe 3 times, because it's just a fantastic movie. I've yet to see Chinatown. I've yet to see Double Indemnity, Gone Crazy, and The Asphalt Jungle. The only other one I've seen there is Pulp Fiction, which is of course brilliant. It's kind of a cult classic. This is some more modern examples of noir films. Undoubtedly, you guys have seen these. Of course, Joker kind of counts as a noir film because it focuses on the life of one character who has a very tough kind of life. But the actions he takes are not necessarily actions he wants to take. He doesn't become the Joker by choice. He becomes the Joker because of the scenarios that force him into it, and that's really what noir is. Similar with John Wick. You know, he doesn't want to go out and kill all these people, but they killed his dog, so he's going to do it. Another thing I should note is that, well, noir is usually accredited to the 1950s, right? 20th century. We give this term neo-noir. Neo-noir. I'll write that in chat for you guys. Neo-noir. And that usually refers to the 21st century. It means new noir. Neo means new. And where noir is very much black and white, neo-noir plays around with color in a similar way to the way light was played in old noir films. That's right, neo-noir. I can't write in chat. And then there's this one, Queen of the South, I'm watching currently. That's very good. And The Outsider, which is an excellent one. It's got Jared Leto in it. It's about an American who comes back from World War II, and he joins the Yakuza, the Japanese gang, and he becomes a member of this Japanese gang, and he ends up doing things essentially because he needs to find his purpose. He needs to find his purpose, and he ends up doing things for his new gang boss. And at the same time, he's sleeping with the sister of one of the gang members, and that's kind of like taboo. It's taboo in Yakuza is that you don't have a relationship with the gang members, with your gang members' female relations, because Yakuza, they can't consider themselves to all be family. So you don't sleep with your brother's sister, essentially. What is that? John Wick had a lot of light play. Yeah, that's right, and that's what we kind of call neo-noir. Is that light play is seen a lot in the 1950s films, but it's all usually done in black and white because there was no access to colored film back then, of course. But in more modern noir films, we see the light is played in these fantastic ways. Like you might see like the signposts of buildings in the city, or neon signs in the street, and the way they bounce off the character's face. And I think probably one of the most famous scenes from a neo-noir film is Blade Runner 2046, I think. And that's the scene in the top left where of course, the iconic bridge scene where the woman is speaking to him. And that is a fantastic example, again, of how light is played with in neo-noir. I also included Death Note in there because I know Death Note is very popular. A lot of people have enjoyed Death Note. But that is also noir because it follows the story of a character who suddenly gets all this power, and it demonstrates how he handles it. And he initially wants to use it for good, but then he turns to evil, which is again common in noir. Also, here's some games as well. I put games in here because I know people on Twitch love games, and I love games too. So here's some example of games. Heavy Rain, of course, is very noir style. It's about a detective trying to solve a case. I even included LA Noir in the bottom left. Wolf Among Us. I love Wolf Among Us's comic style. It was reminiscent of... I didn't actually watch Wolf Among Us or play it, but it was very reminiscent of the Walking Dead video game. Papers, Please. I included Papers, Please because I do think it falls into noir. You play as a border security who wants to feed his family. So you do this job that you don't want to do because you're arresting people. You're like protecting the country, but it's not always easy, as you'll find out. And of course, there's also Detroit Become Human. I would consider that noir or neo-noir, because it focuses on a detective, and not just a detective, other characters too. And it's usually got a lot of noir themes in it, like betrayal and hardship, abuse of drugs, substance abuse, and mystery. It's got a mystery to it as well. Mystery is a huge part. And GTA. I've played a lot of GTA before. I'm working through the story now, off stream. And there was quite a few noir references in there. So I think it's very good. Like even Michael says something about university. He says, go to university so you can get a degree, and then you can study about how to rip people off. And I thought that's the line when he meets Franklin. No, yes, it's the line when Franklin comes to his house and they sit by the pool. He says that to Franklin. I think that line is just so noir. As a writing channel, it's very important also to get into noir literature. And these are just 4 examples that I included from books that I have either read or would like to read. The first one is Restoration Heights, which is one that I've actually wanted to read, basically just on the cover, because I like the New York setting. The next one is the New York trilogy, because I love New York, right? This is a story by Paul Auster. The way he writes is very interesting because it focuses on a few different characters. It's a book with 3 different stories inside it, and it really just warps you because I won't spoil too much, but it's like the book turns inside out, if you can think of it without spoiling too much. But it's very good. I recommend it. It follows a character who is a detective, or he becomes the detective because of a phone call, and he is so dedicated to the case, he becomes obsessed with it, that he ends up sleeping in a alleyway for a month, and he becomes pretty much skin and bones because he hasn't eaten, he hasn't slept. And then he finds out that the case was solved over a month ago, and he's been hiding a month for no reason. So that's an example of how dedicated he can be to the case, you know. The next one I would like to read is by an Australian author. This is Kerry Greenwood. It's called The Lady with the Gun Who Asks the Questions. And I was interested to see a female protagonist in noir because it's so male dominated. You don't get a lot of strong or a lot of stories with female protagonists, and that's what interested me about that. And also just because I love the color green. It's my favorite color. And speaking of green, we got an Irish one. It's actually not Irish, it's American, but it's got an Irish character named Hennessy. I read Hennessy. It's probably my first noir novel that I actually read. And it focuses on a former, Irish Republican Army. Yes, the Irish Republican Army. And he loses his wife and his daughter to the British Army firing squad, who were firing on a group of strikers, people going on strike from work, and his mother and his wife and his son get caught in the crossfire, and this causes Hennessy to go off on this journey to get revenge on British soldiers, not by killing them personally, but by going and actually taking out the Queen is his end goal. But that's a very interesting story. I liked it as well. I have some examples from it to go with. So if you have a pen and paper, or if you just want to listen, I'm going to read a few examples from the New York trilogy, and also Kerry Greenwood's The Lady with the Gun Asks the Questions. And just so we can unpack a few of the techniques. And please give me 1 second. I'm going to get a glass of water because my throat is parched.
Mientras todo dinamita, los sueños se derriten por aquí, es así, veo la vida como Dalí, yo soy quien soy, yo no pienso huir, aunque tenga que subirme al ring, aunque busques el significado del amor en Google, tú dime que me quieres pero no lo jures, yo sigo como Goku, yo sigo en mi nube, regando las plantitas empezando el lunes, mi vida es una llama, yo no trazo un plan, lo que tenga que venir vendrá, yo soy de verdad, yo piso la tierra, tú solo pisas pasos de cebra, ¿a qué esperas? Abre una ventana nueva, súbete al tejado, tumba las antenas, respira bien, no puedes ser quien quieras, escúchate por dentro a ver qué suena.
Okay, the reason I chose this one is because it's about the narrator and the character. We don't actually know who the narrator is yet. We'll get to that later. But it looks back at the main character.
En el onda con el Andy, o en la plaza con la Pandy. En el onda con el Andy, o en la plaza con la Pandy.
It starts to series
Juan Ríos.
and it's literally nature. that would change his life forever, cause him to go on a detective trail. He becomes a detective essentially. But what I like most about this is the line where it says that he would conclude that nothing was real except chance, because it kind of alludes to that noir style of just everything is out of your control, and that everything is flawed, and nothing is easy. Basically, everything is put to chance, and that everything has consequences. Every event will have consequences. This was another one I actually included. So this is much later when Quinn becomes a detective and is following Peter Stillman. Peter Stillman is the antagonist, if you like, so far of the first novel. But that's as much as we know in the first novel. I won't spoil too much. After the cab had dropped him off in front of his house, Quinn realized that he was hungry. He had not eaten since breakfast early that morning. It was strange, he thought, how quickly time had passed in the Stillman apartment. If his calculations were correct, he had been there for more than 14 hours. Within himself, however, it felt as though his visit had lasted 3 or 4 hours at most. He shrugged at the discrepancy and said to himself, I must learn to look at my watch more often. Now this one demonstrates again as I said, the obsessive nature of the noir detective. Is that the detective becomes so engulfed in his case or the action that he's doing that he loses track of time in this case. When he says that 14 hours become 3 or 4 hours, he is obsessing over the case and he's keeping him so busy that he cannot keep track of time. And that's also why later on he will become so obsessed that this case will completely engulf him, and he will become like a fraction of the man that he is when we first meet him. This is from the opening line from the lady with the green gun asks questions. Why did I say the lady with the green gun? The lady with the gun asks us the questions. Okay, that's the name of the book. I made a mistake. It's alright. I have not read this book yet, but I included it in here as an example of. Actually, this is an Australian author. And I included this in here because Noir is very much American dominated. It's got a lot of American cultural references in it because that's where it really blew up. Was America. It was created in France, influenced by Germany, blew up in America. But that doesn't mean that every noir piece has to be American. And this is actually a story about an Australian. But named Perrin Fisher. I'll try my best to read this. Is that how you spell that? Oh, how do you pronounce that name? Perrin? Oh god, I should have researched that first. That's okay. Perrin Fisher, sitting in the lobby of her Paris hotel, laid down the Times and turned it at the sound of the plaintive, flat Australian vowels. Born in Richmond to a cleaning lady and a drunken remittance man, christened Perrin the courtesan instead of Psyche the nymph, so poor that she had challenged the big boys for old tomatoes from the pig bins of Victoria Market before being whisked to England, and hon to her name and wealth. She had no reason to remember Australia with any favour, but the voice brought back hot sun, eucalyptus leaves, sour cream made off real cream. She folded the paper and listened. This is the opening paragraph of the story, and what I liked about it was because it sets up the character, who she is, and setting up the character is important for any writer to know how to do, because you're introducing your characters to the audience for the first time. But it's important to know how to do that, and I think I like the way that they did this in Noir, because in Noir a lot of the characters are very much working class, and that's no coincidence. A lot of the characters are working class. It's no coincidence that initially most of the people who enjoyed Noir were working class people themselves, because the protagonists and the characters in the story were all working class, and like maybe ex-soldiers. So this was very popular in the beginning of America in post-war time, People kind of had maybe a more nihilistic approach to looking at life after that. But what I like about this is that even this is an Australian novel about an Australian woman, and she doesn't have fond memories of her family. You know, her dad was a remittance man, and her mother was a cleaning lady. You know, these are working class jobs. You know, they're not very powerful jobs. Well, not considered by like societal standards. And at the same time, her father's a drunkard. You know, substance abuse. So she hasn't had a very happy childhood. She remembers how she was fighting for food in the Victoria Market, which is a marketplace in Melbourne that's very it's very famous in Melbourne. I went there myself. It's a huge marketplace. People sell food and goods to this day. But she doesn't have a happy memory of Australia, and she ran away to England, was sent to England for a new life. Next one. So I wanted to say, how can you write noir? So you can think of noir as, you can write it like you would any other story. Got my pen and paper here. You can start with the protagonist, who is your main character, who is your protagonist, and you have the story is a plan. Your character follows over your plan, like a plan to get wealthy or a plan to get powerful, or there's a mystery that needs to be solved, or maybe it's a tale of revenge, like in Hennessy, where he goes off to kill the queen to avenge his wife and daughter. Or it could just be drama, like a romantic. Maybe the character is trying to navigate a difficult relationship, or maybe they're trying to pursue a new relationship. And of course, at the end there is your resolution. But of course, it's not that easy. Characters in noir have to have flaws. That is the best part, because like I said, the characters in noir, they're not nice people. They're the kind of people you don't want to meet. They're violent, abusive, foul, usually very questionable people. But you want them to have flaws, because that makes them likable. People relate to flaws. People like a flawed character because they can have sympathy for that character, and then they want that character to win, like Joker. Joker was, Joker started off as a very nice character. He was caring for his mother. Joker was a bit weird, but he was caring for his mother. And then he just went crazy and did a bunch of bad things. But we still rooted for him because we cared about him. We were invested in the character. So you want your character to have, character might suffer from mental illness, and this might be, as I said, the character's flaws are usually the antagonist of the story. So maybe they suffer mental illness. Maybe the character actually dies, or maybe a close loved one to them dies, and that will slow down the story. Or maybe they'll give in to their substance abuse. There was a great example from The Postman Always Rings Twice. It's about a young man who just escaped jail, and he meets a married woman and her husband, and the story is about this married woman and him having an affair. And they want to make enough money to leave her husband and make a new life in the city. So what happens is he gets money, he gets $300, and this is it. We're like, oh great, now him and the wife can run away and start a new life. But then as soon as he gets $300, he thinks he can make more. So he tries to make a bed of schooner. And what happens is he ends up losing all of the $300 he made because of his own gambling addiction. Something like that. That is noir. Next is, these were just some techniques that I listed just to finish off. These are some things you can think about if you ever want to try and write noir, or if you ever have a go at writing noir. Do your characters speak in fast-paced sentences with witty dialogue, or is it more slower, long, or thought-out sentences? I know when I write my novel, a lot of the characters are speaking in very slowly, well-thought-out novels, or well-thought-out pieces of dialogue, and it's usually kind of slow read. Is your narrative told from a first-person point of view, a third-person point of view, or is there a narrator separate from the characters who tells the story? Is your story in the past tense or the present tense? A lot of noir stories that I've read anyway, they're told in the past tense because it's usually like the character reflecting about it. But it can be. I have seen it done in the present tense as well. It's possible. Like in New York Detective Trilogy by Paul Auster. That is the first story is completely told in the past tense, but it can be done in present. My story, Gentleman Gun, so far is in present tense, or at least it was in present tense, but then it kind of shifted to past. It's important to think about the main character and the other kind of characters in your story. So, what kind of character is your main character? Are they one of these common archetypes we talked about before? Or are they someone new, someone that you wouldn't expect to be in a noir story, perhaps a child, or maybe a doctor, someone you wouldn't necessarily expect or to see, because it's always good to keep your readers surprised. What kind of world do they live in? Is it urban? Is it a rural space? Or is your story set on a space station? Is it set on another planet? Is it in the jungle? Is it under the sea? You can get very creative with it. And who dominates this world? What kind of forces are at play? Is there a mob boss that controls this underwater dome that you've created for the characters to live in? Or maybe there's an asteroid coming to hit the Earth, and maybe the characters try to stop it somehow? Like maybe they do that somehow. In my story, Gentleman Gun, I focus on characters live in like a capitalist dystopia, and the main forces at play are the four corporations. Four corporations pretty much decide everything that happens in this capitalist dystopia that their characters live in. What are the complications for the characters? So what are your characters' flaws? Because this defining trait of noir is flaws. Everyone has flaws, and usually noir brings out the worst in human nature. People act on their flaws because they don't know how to act. They don't know how to ignore their flaws anymore, and they use their flaws as strengths sometimes. Or do they use their flaws as strengths? Maybe you could decide if they use their flaws as strengths, or if their flaws completely inhibit their progress in the story. Maybe it slows them down. Maybe they don't get what they want because of their flaws. And the last point is what motivates the characters to do what they do. And this is important for any story. You have to always have a character motivation. Or maybe there's something that slows them down from finding out what the mystery is, or getting what they want. Maybe in a story, maybe he wants this relationship with a married woman, but he doesn't. But he stops himself because her husband is a very powerful mob boss, something like that. But these are some important things to think about when you write your noir. That's my presentation. That's it. But I hope that kind of cleared up a little bit what it means to write noir, what noir actually stands for, what it symbolizes. I think it's very important to know, because I am a noir channel. It's important for me to know what I'm talking about, for you guys to have at least some idea of what I'm trying to center my channel around. I want to make it more obvious with actual channel art what I'm trying to do. Like maybe include some channel art to show more noir themes. But there'll be a lot of things to look forward to in the future. In the future, there's going to be a lot more things to show off. So that's really exciting. I guess the note I wanted to finish on before I go offline today is that noir has a lot of scope. There's still a lot of potential. We haven't seen the end of it yet. I believe that, we have neo-noir, we have noir from the 1950s. There's still so much out there we can do with it, and that's what I want to include in my writing. I want to try and grow noir. And yes, definitely the class aspect was huge, because that was the people it most appealed to. I think because the characters were usually those kinds of people, and even noir even began to make its way to France. It even got very popular in France. American noir came from France and was shipped back to France in a way that people wanted to enjoy, and people in France began to crave, because it portrayed, like during the Great Depression, we have these cowboy movies, cowboy films, and maybe war films that portray America as this heroic country that can do no wrong and is always maybe like a land of opportunity, a dangerous, unexplored land of opportunity. But for the first time that it had ever been done, noir films presented this image of the USA as a very different kind of USA, one that was more harsh, a more harsh kind of feel to it than had ever been seen, and people loved that. People just ate that up so much because it was new, it was exciting. No one had ever presented their country, for what it was. Some might say, the life on the streets, or behind the Venetian blinds, or under the shotgun under the bar. Those kinds of things. That's why noir has a lot of backstabbing and stuff in it, a lot of plot twists. Like a great plot twist is when the femme fatale completely is revealed to be the orchestrator of the murder, or she seduces the detective and then betrays him or something like that. That's usually a very good plot twist, and that kind of stuff was really appealing to people. And yeah, it's definitely working class people, but definitely there's a whole thing with literature, is that a lot of noir was published. Have you guys heard of pulp fiction? They call it pulp fiction because pulp fiction is like this very biodegradable, very cheap material to print stories onto. And they would print pulp fiction because it was very easy to distribute, because the material was very cheap to get. And it also biodegraded very fast. So if you find a pulp fiction book, then hold on to it, because look after it, because they're very special. It's a part of history. And I think I would love to get my hands on a pulp fiction, a genuine copy of a pulp fiction. But that pulp fiction made it accessible to working class people, because of course there's more working class people than there are rich people or wealthy minority. So it was very common in those circles, and also of course in the cinemas were always packed with people to go see noir films. But there's a lot of scope, and I want to be one of the writers who can try and push it in the new direction, if I can. And that will come with time, but there'll be lots more time to come to do that. I'm really excited, and I think that's gonna do my stream today. It's late. It's nearly my bedtime comes up in a few hours, and quite frankly, my throat is a bit sore from talking. I'm gonna give my voice a break. I'm gonna go offline, get myself a nice drink, maybe some tea. Maybe watch some noir films, hey? Listen to some jazz music. That's another thing, I want to put jazz on my streams, like proper noir jazz. This lo-fi stuff's good, but I want to put proper noir jazz, because that's who I am. And I want to share that with you guys. And thank you for staying through it, and thank you for giving me a chance to listen to what I have to say, because that's so special to me. I love that. I love having an audience. Go check out Ren Foster's channel. She does a lot of arts and crafts. And if you guys want to see more content, please give a follow. I upload pretty much every day. And if you don't catch me live, I also have my YouTube channel where I upload all my streams and some highlights as well. This is going to go down as a highlight. I'm going to put it on my channel so you can watch it. and even on my YouTube channel. There's also my Instagram. I do sometimes post my poetry on there, so there's all my links to those are in my Twitch description. So if you're interested, please go have a look. And I will drink something warm, mint tea. I do not have mint tea, but maybe green tea. I appreciate the suggestion. I'll have a look for something warm. Thank you. Yeah, guys,